My bossy brother-in-law moved into our house without asking. And then the locks, while I was at work when I showed up lost, he told her, "You're not family anymore since you wouldn't give them money." I stood in the rain and asked for the money, until I called the police, pulling him out while he screamed, My name is Rick, I'm 42, and I live in Scranton. I work in a machine shop in Pennsylvania. I've done it for almost 20 years. The person who clocks in does his job, keeps to himself. I don't need much. My tools, a truck that works, and peace that we've been married for 13 years. We haven't had kids in years, and that's fine. We just worked on building a steady life, a small 2-bedroom house. This is what we bought after years of saving nothing. Fancy, but it's ours. And most of the loan that we've already worked for, nothing, not even. Gifts or shortcuts, Deanie, Carla's younger brother, has always been the exact opposite. He's still 35. Going after false hopes every 6 months, it's drop shipping. Bitcoin is something new. Some people sell houses without having any money. He has an idea for an app but is too lazy to build it. Lived with their mom sometimes, and sometimes. Crashed with friends and even stayed on our couch a few times in the beginning. Never had a job last more than a year. I kept putting the blame on everyone else. Keep quiet about it for years for Carla's. She loved her brother even if he was bad, drove her crazy, and to be fair, when Denny still had a little charm, he was funny and he made people like him. Laugh. Talked like he was in a movie. Was about to do something big, but now he was just a jerk with a big ego. 3. A few months ago, Denny told me to leave. Carla wasn't at work, so he asked her to borrow $15,000 and said he had a new Amazon FBA account. Thing he was doing with a guy from Philly. It was said to be a sure thing. He was ready with a whole pitch like I told him straight out that he was on Shark Tank. It's not rude. We just wanted to make it clear. A lot of money into making our... Carla had a short-term job in the kitchen. I wasn't going to take a 15-grand pay cut. He was quiet for a second as he thought about the black hole. I'm not asking for a take it easy, it's a loan, I replied. You haven't paid back those 3 yet. Grand from 2019, he said, and hung up. After some time, Carla texted me to ask what I did. You should tell Denny that he's making my then some. Texts came through on the phone. Denny left the family chat, called me bossy, and said I was trying to stay away from him and Carla. I said I'm angry that I never took chances. Carla lived like a scared little man. Quickly stopped talking and told him not to. About me, that told him I had every to say no, but I could feel the shift. He stopped talking and didn't text after that. There were no calls, so I thought that was it. Didn't go to a Tuesday, and Lisa was outside on a cold, rainy March day. I'm out of town at a business meeting in Denver. I arrived after a long shift and stopped to get a lunch on my way home. As they pulled into the driveway, they saw the door light was on for some reason. It's on a timer, so that was strange, and it shouldn't have been on, but I went to the front door and put my key in the lock. I tried again, but it didn't work. Stood there confusedly, making sure I had the right key, so I called Carla, but got no answer when I knocked. I texted, hey, but they didn't answer. My keys won't work for some reason. Did you change the locks? The door light turned on again. After some time, the door opened just a crack, and Denny was dressed in one of my old shirts for work. Drinking a beer while standing, something in my gut said, why the hell are you here? I asked him, smiled, and told her, this isn't your house. No longer. I blinked and thought maybe I got what? Wrong. You chose what to do. When you ignored your family, he said, sounding like he was talking from a movie. I told the bad guy to stop fixing things. He turned around and opened the door. He leaned against and took a step back. Frame, who was still drinking and laughing, you wouldn't help me, so I did it myself, he said. Carla told me I could stay here. You're the outsider. Whenever I needed it. Now, he said, shutting the door in my face. I thought as I stood there in shock at first. It could have been a joke that Carla pulled. He could stay while she would have told me no way. I slammed on the brakes when she did that to me. The doorbell rang again, but no one answered. It began to rain. I stood there in the rain and stared at the door. I called Carla over and over, but she didn't answer. Then I realized Denny had changed he probably hired a locksmith to change the locks. To come out and lie to them got the job changed the locks, and he was now inside. Having a beer at home, wearing my shirt, I felt angry and scared at the same time. I wasn't going to break a window and getting caught trying to get into my own damn home. I had to be smart, so I called Jared, and I have known each other for a long time. He's a police officer. Helped me fix up his old Ford F-150 last winter, and I told him he owed me one. He didn't even ask what went on. He said he would be there in 5 minutes. Would bring backup in 15 minutes, too. When the police arrived, Jared walked to the loud knock on the door, and Denny answered again. He looked more tense this time. "What's officer with the problem?" He asked like he reading a script that Jared didn't play. "You don't live here. You're not on the owner is standing on the property, right? He says you weren't invited." Denny began to stutter, and Carla said, I could stay here whenever my sister told me to." "She's not here," Jared said. "And you are. You can't change someone's locks. Come quickly to someone else's house." Ellen stood still. "Get out, or we'll come in." He then tried to argue, but it was too late. They pushed in, and the next thing I knew, Denny is being pulled out by the arm by Jared. Denise is yelling, "I'm family, he's not." Family, he likes to be in charge. This is the neighbors of sister's house showed up. I didn't care that someone filmed it, shackled him and took him to the station for trespassing and breaking in later. She flew home early that night and It turns out that months ago, she told Denny's offhand in a casual time that he could stay if he ever hit rock bottom, in our spare room. But that was before he destroyed all ties with the loan. She didn't mean for him to get in the fight, without telling me for sure not to. We changed the locks and threw me out. Learned that he had sold some of our stuff. Her old card was used on Facebook Marketplace. A card he found in a drawer told him to order food. We pressed booze and who knows what else. Charges that there's more to the story after that, but I'll keep going with that what happened in the days after Denny got Carlo was back after being pulled out and becoming a blur. She tried to hold it together at home, but I was scared, mad, and I stayed. So we checked each room one at a time. He looked through drawers of everything he had. Wardrobes and even our locked file cabinet in the office opened. A lot of their own stuff was missing some signed pictures of Carla's jewelry box. I used to have baseball cards when I was a wee. Called the cops and said the kid was gone. Began looking in pawn shops, that's when. When the second wave hit, he had been squatting and claiming to own. There were emails on Carla's phone at home. He had logged into her Gmail on her laptop that showed that he tried to sell the house for. You can rent a fake ad with pictures on Craigslist of our backyard and living room, said it was a fancy home for business people provided services, which included he'd been going to see people like a landlord. A woman even came by while we were home. She pulled into the driveway with her teen son and asked, "Is this the house? That was on the web? I almost missed my viewing date with Denny. Kayla had to calm me down because I lost it." She was confused and felt bad about what she said. Denny sent her pictures and said he would see her. A date to move in. Thank God she hadn't not yet given him a deposit, but someone else got $800 from a guy in Jersey to hold the room through Venmo when I knew what Denny was. Not only was he mooching, he was using our house to run a scam. Carla, she blamed herself a lot and took it hard. I should not have told him he could stay. I never thought I'd feel this way. I was wrong when I told her it wasn't her fault. No one thinks their own brother will do something so crazy. But it wasn't over. Still, a week after being arrested, Denny while we were out on bond, we got a plea for emergency rights to live. There, I had no idea that existed. It looks like Denny was trying to claim that Carla had told him over the phone living together and that he had an what a family should expect from living agreement. He sent in fake texts and to try to back it. up with texts that they looked like they were from Carla. You always have a place and other things. You can stay here for as long as you want. Not need. They were sex she never wrote those, and our lawyer jumped right in. We gave them protection for phone records, caught everything, but Denny wouldn't stop. They kept seeing him at the end of our parked his car and just stared at the street. He would sometimes leave trash at the house. Our garage is full of empty beer cans from takeout bags, always the same green beat-up car, Hyundai Elantra, with duct tape on the bumper. I went outside one night to take out the trash and found the baseball I had lost, torn-up cards were pushed in the mailbox. I felt like it was a threat just sitting there, like I was going crazy. We added an order to stay away from the case, but those it would take time, and until it was over, Denny tested the line over and over. Then came the second surprise. Carla's mom just called. She has never been a big fan of mine. I thought I took care of her son and made Carla was being too serious, but this time she was. She told Carla she had really kicked. Denny had been out a few days before. He had shown up drunk and told her to call us. Fix everything when she said no. Messed up her living room and flipped the coffee table, broke a lamp that she called the police too, but he got away before they could catch him. They showed up. And here's the catch. Carla's mom told us Denny had been making plans, something he had been telling her for weeks. If Rick won't lend me I'll just move in and make him do it if I have the money. He'll leave because Carla will side with me. She'll understand that I'm the only family she has. Knew he was going to break up with us. He thought that if he squatted for a long time and shook things up, Carla would feel sorry for. He really thought I should kick him out and leave. That was his whole game. When I snapped, I wasn't just upset about I was having trouble with a freeloader, one who thought he could manipulate others, put himself between my wife and me, and I called Jared again and said, "Take over my life." I told him I wished to press every could be charged with more than just trespassing fraud and identity theft were tried, real burglary and theft in real estate, everything about credit card theft harassment. Jared told me something I didn't know. He did say, "You're not the only one. Denny has done some small things before, but he's pulled off many cons like this before." I asked why it had never been this big before. Jared said, "No one ever warned us because most of the people who died were family. Dropped the charges, but not this time. Carla, I stepped up and we froze our credit. New laws allowed for more spying help. The more we dug, the more we even learned that he'd been getting mail from our mailbox while they were at work. A friend saw it once, but I had no idea who he was. He had taken a bank account and a payment card offer. It was full-on identity theft, made me very angry, but also made up my mind that I wasn't going. I was going to bury him in if you kicked him out. Because of it, and just when I thought it, Carla learned she was being looked into by her company's HR staff, got a message from a stranger tip that she was interested in housing scam, that she knew she let a criminal do stay in her house to pull. Scams. Didn't say who sent it, but we knew Denny also tried to make her lose her job. When Carla got off, her face was pale. On the phone with HR, they said they weren't making claims, while only doing a regular check after getting a tip. She works for a bank and follows rules are tight. If they believe you're involved in scam or shady business, they can put you on hold while they look into it. That's exactly what they did. She was sent on leave until the study was done. Starting right away, that was the when Denny stopped messing up in. In our eyes, he wasn't just a loser with bad luck. He was angry, and he was smart. He wanted more than just a place to stay. Was out to get us, I called Jared. Told him again about the person. He told me to write the report and do Carla's job. Don't forget that he was already working on something. It looks like the fake rental ad and the Venmo texts had putting things in a more serious group fraud with the aim to make money off of stolen things. And now the mail theft, and we had enough information in the HR report for a full illegal investigation. But it took a long time. I thought it was too slow, so I began digging on. I remembered Denny had left his mine. There's an old, broken iPhone on the coffee table. I threw it in the night he was caught. A drawer who wants to give it to 911, but I forgot that Carla said. It didn't happen. Have a lock screen. so I turned it on. It did turn on, and I found everything he had written in his notes app. I'm talking about step-by-step plans, like something from a bad movie he saw. For each scam, the break-in bluff has a title: Brother Pressure to Move House Lockdown, Make a Backup Plan for the HR Scare Report. He had written down his goals, steps, and even guides for how to talk to the police to Carla and what to say to get her to believe you who can change the locks. Without ID, there were pictures of letters that were fake. He had lied to Carla between them. Chatting app to make fake talked and saved them as proof. There were Venmo records that showed getting money from at least 3. Some of them had rent deposits or utilities were in the note. It was a goldmine of proof. But the worst part, he had a list of things to do after that. He fired me when Rick was done with the file. Protection order because he's mean will look real. Call your lawyer friend, make up a deal to get Carla back on my side, tells her about how Mom set things up. GoFundMe for being unlawfully removed from my home. By my brother-in-law move into master changes to my bedroom and services to my new name. I sat in the car and didn't shake with fear. Angry, this wasn't just some jerk. There was no doubt that this was a full-on long con. People were after us for who knows how long. How long I copied everything, sent it to our lawyer, Jared, and to HR. I also printed at Carla's office. Hard copies and put them away in 3 different places in case the it had an instant effect. HR dropped there after seeing the forge, a report of Carla texts and Denny's notes. They called the tip about bad influence and sent it to, it was for internal court action. Carla was back on the job with full pay and an apology, but Denny, he got it from the regional boss. Didn't know we had the phone. So while it seemed like we were still trying to get better, he went ahead and did the most stupid thing of all. He tried to he said he had a legal claim against me. I literally said I did emotional damage during the eviction and made threats against him. Even sent along a fake doctor report saying he had panic attacks caused by stress attacks and suffering that keeps happening from the cops, that he was going to sue me for $50,000. You had the nerve to say that. I read out loud for the first time. In weeks. Then I sent my lawyer everything from my phone. Around the same time, there were more cracks. To show one of the people Denny ripped off with the fake rental ad, came forward with photos and texts, someone else. He met him through a Facebook group for landlords, sent a full chain of emails that showed Denny pretending to be Daniel R. with a fake ID Gmail address that we gave it all to cops, and our lawyer pushed the DA to combine all of the trespassing, scams, theft of name, harassment, false police, claims that conversations were faked, but Denny didn't stop yet. He just began. Someone is after my name next gave the machine 1 star. The shop's Google page said I was aggressive. 2 more, unstable and a known racist. The same week one report came out, she said I made a friend feel unsafe with I've never even had an HR tool. Not once in 20 years did my boss call me. When I asked what the hell was going on, knew right away where every review came from a brand new account with no past transactions, all of them were written within minutes of each. Other all linked to the same IP address. That last Denny's was the last straw for me. It wasn't about a key or a room or no more money for this man. The man I married wanted to erase my life. He tried to break my heart little by little. I lost my job, my wife, and my home. Play the victim while he did it, he chose the wrong person, and my plan for payback. It wasn't just going to be about karma. It was always going to be there. Everything I ever asked for was war with Denny. There was peace in my home, and I respected my wife and general civility. But Denny spit on all of those things, tried to kick me out of my own house, to trick people, attack me, and ruin I ended my marriage and my wife's job. So they chose to end it for good with truth law and just the right amount of shame to make it stink forever. It began with the charges, because of the notes what we found on his phone, along with the text message scams, Venmo records, And cameras video shows that Denny was hit with identity scam, with a credit card theft, trespassing threats of abuse and slander, filing a fake police report for estate fraud, reports civil theft in connection with his fake when they sued me. The DA didn't just... They went hard on the file. The judge signed an order saying that the two people could not talk to each other. Denny was picked up a second time, this time without notice. No chance to run. Time to get ready. They put handcuffs on him He was in the parking lot of the sketchy motel. He came crashing in and seemed to have gotten into it with a different guest the night before. There were punches. And police already had his name in a story that he didn't know when he opened the door to that motel room. 5 warrants were already out there. But that wasn't even the best part. That was said at his trial. Clara. I sat in the second row, behind the prosecution. Denny came in with his hands cuffed and an old hoodie with holes in the sleeves with his odd shoes. He looked like a ghost. When the judge read the list of he was charged and asked if he knew what he didn't say yes, he just looked at us. He looked like he couldn't believe I did it. But I didn't set him up. He did everything himself. I only brought it into because his bail was turned down by the judge, called him a repeat liar. Repeat criminal with a pattern of abuse of both person and money was done to him. Sans bon jusqu'au procès, and I was sure Denny didn't have real money. But I still went ahead and sued, for our lawyer helped us sue him for damages. Damage to property, court fees, and time off work hours of inner pain, stolen goods, making false claims to Carla's boss, slander at work, which we easily won. He didn't even show up to fight it. The judge gave us a $47,000 award if he didn't have the money, but we did. Learned something else from that: his family did leave him money. When his grandma died 5 years ago, a long time ago, the estate was stuck in probate because of a land conflict. But Lisa already knew about what was just cleared. Denny thought he'd get it all, though. Since he was the most like them, grandmother was wrong because of as soon as that money hit his pocket, we grabbed account Arlene as a matter of urgency. Every single penny of his $42,000 gift was put on hold, and changed the path of $38,000 of it went straight to a court order was paid, and the rest went to lawyers' fees. I didn't keep any of the money. Carla should decide what to do with it. Most of it was given to a charity that helps women get away from abusive families, and she told him he was lying. If he had grown up in a better place to live, he might not have. It worked out this way. But someone else can. You can still get a shot. But Denny's spiraling didn't end there with his name burnt. His money is gone, and he's been scamming, uncovered his online record. And then that police film was shown everywhere, getting him out, went viral on Our Neighbors, put something on Facebook. Renter shared it with his teenage son. A scam buster subreddit for defense groups each time, and even a neighborhood news site boss, roommate, or date who Googled he would find that tape and those fake review he wrote about me. We found them. All email proof to Google, and were taken away, but we went further. Asked Google to look into a harassment claim team of lawyers and linked it to the criminal. Now that his name is on the list, post a review on more than one site with his phone number or email address, and it gets flagged automatically because he turned into a ghost. On the web, there was nowhere to hide any tracks. Going back to the mistakes he made that Carla and I fixed, we changed the locks on the house and got the room security system, even painted them new. He had touched it and was about to start fresh one afternoon while Carla got rid of old files by sitting down on the couch next to me and said, "You know, he might have done it if you hadn't stood your ground. You've really hurt us." I looked at her. He tried and failed, but to be honest, I almost broke too. At night, I asked myself, what if? All of this began when I said no to that loan. If only I had let him go. One more time, sleep on the couch, but he would then stand in my mind. House with my shirt on, telling me I wasn't about money or family. That was about being in charge at Denny's, now being sent to prison for 14 months. Not in some either county's jail is a nice place to get better. He'll be locked up and face real consequences. Have a crime record for the rest of, they will never rent a place again in their lives. Without a check of their history, a fake real estate plan that they'll forget getting a real job. You have to steal them. Getting charged and his big break dreams were dead, and I was moved to Carla got a raise as a shift boss. Boss said the way she dealt with the situation showed strong character when we're under a lot of stress. We still get, the letters are from Denny and come from, she is still blaming everyone while she is in jail. But we no longer open them. For him, they were burned in the back fire pit, where we used to have barbecues with him when we thought he was just too young. I used to think family was dangerous. I think this family is now everything earned, not given, and anyone who tries to, they should take what you built. Get ready for the next storm, because there are times when payback doesn't come with. It comes in sometimes with hands or yelling. Bank accounts were frozen by court papers and the cold quiet of a door that is locked. They won't open again. And that's the exact thing Denny